What's up everyone, and welcome back to another Lightroom tutorial. We've got another image sent in, so we're going to be trying to recreate the exact edit with the same image. I'll be linking all of his details down in the description, so if you guys like his content, like his work, you can go down there and give him a follow. You can also check out his YouTube. I'll be linking that down in the description as well. So looking down, you can see that his feed, he really makes use of the really dramatic lighting and really uses those filters to really bring that out, and pretty dark blacks, puts a bit of a fade in there, and we're going to be trying to recreate the edit for this image right here. So let's get into Lightroom, see if we can create something like this one. Here's our raw unedited image, and as you can see, an important step to this image is to in-camera expose for those highlights. So you're keeping all the detail in the brightest areas, and then in post you've already planned to bring out the shadows in the darker areas later. So important step to this image because we want to obviously get a lot of detail of the clouds in this image. Right, so I'm going to bump up the exposure. I'm going to come down, profile corrections, and a bit of warmth in there. So, as you can see, we want to bump up the contrast, and now we're obviously too bright over in this area. We can't see any of that detail of the sky, so bringing down the highlights. And I'm going to bump up shadows a lot. And you might think that is way too much to bring up your shadows, but in this image you can see that there's a pretty strong vignette. So I'm going to do the vignette now. And what I'm going to do is bring the midpoint down. And it's going to really help draw the person's view into the center of the image. So it really helps. And now I think I'm going to add in, before I do any more, I'm going to add in quite a bit of contrast with the color curves. And what we will have to do is add in quite a bit of a fade to these blacks with this curve. But we'll do the color curves first. Alright, so that's the tone curves done. Here's our before and after of just the curves. And looking good. So, moving on, we want to do some colors now. I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom. And we're going to shift all the way this way. And then we're going to add some teals in there. And we're looking pretty saturated. Now, I can't tell you exactly why I'm using calibration, why I'm moving these. He's helped me out with a few of these settings, so it's very hard to tell if from an image if someone's using calibration, because you can achieve it all in the HSL sliders, which I prefer. But yeah, so moving on, gonna do some split toning. So we want to enhance the, actually before we do that, we'll finish up here. So these blacks are too strong at the moment. I'm going to really bring them up. And the whites look about right, maybe a bit more of a pop. A little bit of clarity. Tiny bit of softness to the image, so a little bit of haze. Looking pretty good. So we want to maybe now do some split toning. So we want to enhance the sunset look. So, well, actually before that, let's darken the bottom of our image. Flip it around. And make sure it's nice and big so you get that slow fall off. Right, looking good. So we were on to split toning, and we want to enhance the sunset colors. So there's a bit of warmth up in the sky. There's not much blue. We've got a lot of blue at the moment. And there's quite a bit of purple and warmth down in the shadows. So I'm going to do your typical warm in the highlights and purpley blue in the shadows. As you can see, we're adding that color into the shadows there. Right. I'm going to shift the balance a little this way. So what the balance does, all the way to this side, you're adding the highlights to the entirety of the image. And same this way, you're adding all the shadows to the entire image. I'm going to shift it slightly so we're getting a bit of extra warmth into those shadows. And that sort of, I think that's more what a sunset sort of look would look like. Right. Moving on, I think we need to fine tune quite a few of our colors. Like we've got too many blues in there. We want a bit more purples maybe. So yeah, let's do that. I'll start with some reds. So looking at just one spot in the image. Oranges. We want a bit more of an orange to our oranges. You're a bit yellow at the moment if you look at areas like this. We're up here. Yellow, same with the yellows. No real greens in here. Chuck them down there. Aquas will make a bit more of a teal. teals. Right, saturation. I'm going to really bring out the yellows in this image. And what I'm doing, it's obviously too saturated right in the middle of the image, but you want to look around these areas because I think he's desaturated the middle image a bit. So I'm going to do that later, desaturate the middle image, and just concentrate on the rest of the image for now. So you can see a lot of blues and aquas down here in the shadows. And they don't stand out as much, so we'll drop them. Luminance, so brightness. I don't think we need to do too much. Yellows, it's always quite a good idea to bring up the yellow luminance because the yellow colors are usually affecting the edges of the sunlight or most of the buildings and such. So it quite helps to enhance the sunset look. Right, looking pretty good. I want to bring this up a bit. I want to do a big radial filter over the middle. Might drop the saturation a tad. And I might drop the exposure a tad as well. Right, I'm gonna get a brush. Gonna paint all along the side. Right, I want to get rid of some of those bit too much purple in there maybe. So adding some green in there will give us a nicer golder image. Maybe some warmth. And then really drop the saturation. I think that looks a little better. See how that looks. Right, so we're looking pretty good. I want to do some brushing. So I'm going to grab the brush. And dodging and burning is better in Photoshop, but you can get away with it in the brush tool. So we want to brighten some of the bright spots, make them stand out a bit better. So I'm going to brush all along here, all along here. And as you can see, what he's done, he's brushed these edges and just brightened them a bit and softened them a little bit. So took out a bit of contrast, and it gives a really soft look to those highlights. We've got quite a contrasty dark image, and we just want to keep a lot of it quite soft. So I'm gonna bring up the blacks. And it sort of does the same effect of adding in haze that we maybe don't want quite as much. And just gives a nice glow to the image. Might add in a tad of a little bit of haze. I think that's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Where's the sharpening? I might drop the sharpening. Keep it nice and creamy. But yeah, otherwise I think I'm pretty happy with that. Before and after. So yeah, I'll keep it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and you can go give him a follow down in the description. All of his links will be down there. And comment what you guys like about these videos or don't like, so then I can improve and try to teach you guys a bit better. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and comment who you guys want to see so I can reach out to them on Instagram, ask them to send in a photo, and hopefully do a tutorial on them. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one.